They say the second year of dental school is a completely different beast than the first year. You're still a full-time student being in class basically from 8 to 5 every day, but you're also an actual practicing clinician, at least part-time. Last year I made a video called D1 by the numbers, where I quantified my first year in dental school in numbers. In today's video, I want to analyze my second year, but from a little bit different perspective. Let's break down my D2 year at the University of Iowa College of Dentistry game show style on this episode of Dr. Dad the Dentist. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you saw my D1 recap video last year up here, you know I love analyzing the numbers that go along with school. Today, I've got 7 questions tracking my entire second year. Let's get started with phase 1, the academic mountain. Question number 1, how many different classes did we have to juggle this year? Is it A, 15, B, 20, C, 25, or D, 30? I'll give you a second to think about it and lock in your answer. The correct answer is D, 30 classes, 30 distinct courses spread across the fall and spring semesters. There were 14 in the fall and 16 in the spring. The pace is absolutely relentless. There's no way around it, but you quickly realize that you are capable of handling way more than you ever thought was possible. Question number 3, and this one is terrifying, but more on that in a minute. How many total PowerPoint slides were presented to us in lectures this year? Was it 20,119, 25,434, 30,119, or 35,434? What do you think? Do me a favor, drop it in the comments right now before I reveal it. The correct answer is B, 25,434 slides. That's up from the 20,119 in our first year. Now I'd like to take a minute to discuss really how all this played out and how it actually ended up being a really big deal for me personally throughout the year. In the fall, we had just under 10,000 slides, so about the same as last year, so not a huge shock. However, in the spring, we had over 15,000. That's a 50% increase over any other semester so far. And for my numbers-obsessed mind, it was really, really hard. There were many days where we would have well over 300 new slides worth of material, and having over 400 slides in a day was not uncommon. My brain would be screaming, like I didn't even get through yesterday's 300 slides yet, and now I've got another 400 to learn, and I won't even be able to get started on this until after 6:30 tonight. And I think the most we had in one day was 574 slides, if you can believe that. Silly me, I kept a spreadsheet where I tracked all of this, so I always knew exactly how many we had. One night I was out on a walk, and my wife called me, and I was talking to her about it and telling her how many new slides we had that day. And my wife is by far the smarter of the two of us, no question. And she's very good at looking at things rationally. And she said something to me like, something along the lines of, every time I talk to you, you can tell me exactly how many slides you had that day. I think you're obsessing about it, and I think it's getting to you. She was right, like she always is, 100% right. The numbers had gotten in my head, and it was not helping anything. It was just truly overwhelming me more than anything. So from that time on, I think that was like, I don't know, end of March, early April, it was still pretty cold outside. I still kept track of the numbers, but I usually didn't track them for a couple days until after the lectures. So even though I knew what they were, my mind wasn't dwelling on it, and it removed a huge burden. Seriously, who would have known that just knowing numbers could have such an impact on your brain and on the way you look at stuff? So lesson learned here. Yes, it's a lot of material. Yes, you have to learn it. But no, you don't have to let it go to your head. Good lesson for me. Thankfully, D2 year isn't just about staring at screens. We spend a massive amount of time working with our hands as well, both in sim clinic and in the patient clinics. Let's move on to phase 2, classroom and lab highlights. Question number 4. Out of all those 30 classes, what was my absolute favorite? Was it removable partial dentures, RPD, endodontics, basic pharmacology, or pediatrics, pediatric dentistry? If you guessed A or B, you got it right. It's a tie, dead tie between removable partial dentures, RPD, and endodontics. If you've been following me on social media for a bit, if you're not following me on social media, go to Instagram and TikTok. It's at Dr. Dav the Dentist. But if you've been following me, you know that I have a massive spot in my heart for endodontics. I've spent a lot of time shadowing local endodontists, and there's just something incredibly satisfying about the precision and the challenge and like the immediate problem solving that goes along with root canal therapy. I just absolutely love it. But RPD completely surprised me. Everyone talks about how miserable that class is, how it's just Civil War dentistry. I didn't think that at all. I discovered it's incredibly logic heavy. It's basically engineering for the mouth, like figuring out the path of insertion, where the guide planes should be, what sort of clasps you should put on, how you have to distribute the forces so the prosthesis stays stable and doesn't move around and extract teeth. Lots of stuff. For a guy who loves systems and logic-based learning, RPD just clicked. So it'll be real interesting to see if I really like it that much when I have to do an RPD for a real patient. See if I like it as much as I did it on my typodont Francis and his father, Freddie. It also helped that my professor, her name's Dr. May, was such an amazing teacher and such a great mentor. She made the class really fun, and I'm really looking forward to learning more from her next year in the prosthodontics clinic. But look, it wasn't all love in the lab, that's for sure. There were some dark days. That brings us to question number 5. What was my least favorite dental material to work with this year? Was it gutta percha, B, alginate, C, PMMA, or D, composite? Every dental student watching this right now is groaning at least one of those 4 materials. The answer for me is C, PMMA. Oh, PMMA. You may remember this reel that I posted about PMMA a while back. Caitlin, PMMA is a special kind of kick in the head. Do you agree?
Yes.
We use it to create provisional crowns and temporary frameworks for bridges. And let me tell you, it is a test of patience. The smell alone will wake you up in the morning and keep you up at night. But the real joy is when it reaches this sticky, gooey stage. When it's curing, we call that the doughy stage. And it's got to get to that point before you can really work with it. Once you finally get it hardened, you've got to trim it, which takes forever. It gets this acrylic dust everywhere. And that's not even including all the time you spend praying that when you put the doughy PMMA onto your typodont that it doesn't stick and get stuck. Oh, terrible. Let's just say I'm glad to have that block in the lab behind me. And I know I'll have to do more PMMA next year in Superblock and prosthodontics, but I'm glad to have a break from it, let's say that. Now we enter phase 3, the clinic. This is where everything changes. While we did treat patients in our D1 year, we saw 2 non-peer patients. We did a lot more direct patient care in our D2 year. And this is one of the things that I truly love about the University of Iowa College of Dentistry. We start seeing patients very early in our training, start seeing them in our first year, and we see a whole lot during our second year. So we're actually able to step away from all the plastic teeth in the sim clinic and start looking into the eyes of a living, breathing human being, someone who needs our help and has come to us trusting us. That brings us to question number 6. How many total patients did I treat in clinic this year? Was it A, 10, B, 12, C, 14, or D, 16? Remember, this was spread between the operative clinic, minor operative, and preventative clinics where we did cleanings. The answer is D, 16 patients. 16 incredible people who trusted a second-year student to manage their oral health. See, the thing is, when you're in sim clinic, if you mess up a tooth, you just unscrew it and replace it with another plastic tooth. It's not a big deal. In the sim or in the real clinic, that's not the case. You are managing patient comfort, systemic health histories, profound local anesthesia. Did you really get them numb before you do this filling on them? Their anxiety and all these other things that go along with it. Navigating those 16 patients was an incredible learning curve, so much different than being in the sim clinic. So that brings us to our final question. Question number 7. What was my single most rewarding experience in the clinic this year? Was it A, treating the same patient 3 times, or B, extracting 6 teeth in 1 appointment? The answer is A, treating the same patient 3 times. I I had a very nice but very nervous patient who needed familiarity and routine in their treatment. My first appointment with them went really well. I placed 4 sealants on the upper right, but we still needed to do sealants on the other 3 quadrants, the left and then the lower jaw. And I asked if they would like me to continue their treatment, and they said yes. So we had 2 more appointments over the semester, and I was able to place a total of 16 sealants. During the first appointment, the patient was pretty nervous, but honestly, so was I, I'm not gonna lie. But by the 3rd appointment, we had formed a real relationship, and they trusted me. That was a great feeling. They knew how I worked, and they knew that my goal was to make sure that they were comfortable and to provide them the best treatment that I possibly could. Building that patient rapport and seeing their oral health improve because of the care that I was giving them, that I was delivering, that was exactly why I went to dental school. That's what I was hoping for. It made every single one of those 25,000 plus PowerPoint slides worth it. Looking back, D2 year was an absolute mountain to climb. It was 100 times harder than D1 was, like literally 100 times harder. But oddly, I did significantly better academically. But standing on the other side of it, heading into my D3 year, I can confidently tell you that the hard work pays off. So if you enjoyed this recap, do me a massive favor. Please hit the subscribe button, press the like button, and share this with any pre-dental students you know, other dental students. Thank you so much for all the incredible support on all the socials this year. I got a lot of really nice comments from a lot of people, a lot of great questions. And I truly couldn't do this without the support of my amazing wife, Deidre, my daughters, Jana, Julie, and Jill, and my son-in-laws, Martin and Joseph, and all my other family members. Not to mention my shoulders to cry on, Braden and Katie, the other members of what we call the world's most okay study group, who let me vent and cry and complain whenever I needed to. And yes, there were tears shed this year. Dental school is truly a team sport, no way around it. So see you on the next episode of Dr. Dad the Dentist, where I will discuss some of the honestly harsh realities that come along with being a 51-year-old non-traditional dental student. Most of what I talk about is super positive, and I try to keep it that way, but there are some challenges that you face when you're my age doing this. So see you in the next video.